5 on Your Side starts now with breaking news.
We're following two breaking stories right now at 10. We're on the scene in South St. Louis where police are investigating after multiple people were shot, including 3 juveniles. More on that in just a moment. First tonight, strong scattered storms have led to flash flooding in some parts of the bi-state. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. About 90 minutes ago, Brentwood firefighters rescued people from cars caught in the rising waters of Deer Creek. The area around the Brentwood Sports Complex is prone to flash flooding. No word on any injuries.
And St. Louis firefighters responded to stalled cars on I-55 near Loughborough and South City. That water has since receded. This is another area prone to flash flooding. Let's get straight over to Chief Meteorologist Scott Cottle, who's been tracking these scattered downpours.
Yes, in fact, most of the rain is long gone, and it was only intense for a brief period. But, you get the heavy rainfall. And in some of these areas, like along Deer Creek and Brentwood, it adds up quickly and flows up. The creek jumps up. All right, you're looking out at the airport. Things are relatively quiet right now. That's what's left of the rain that came through St. Louis. Not much, right? A little bit left off to the east, just showers moving away. We'll take you back a little farther to when it was coming through the metro area. It was more impressive, even some 35 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts with it in spots. But as far as rainfall, right around the area where we saw the problems there along Loughborough and 55 and then back out towards Deer Creek, we're talking about 1.5 inches or so of rainfall. Farther east, we saw spots earlier in the day that ended up with 2 to 4 inches of rain. And as we look at the latest satellite and radar pictures, right now, most of what we're seeing down to our south is right along the front that has stalled out down to our south. And for the remainder of the night, odds are it's an isolated shower or two. Areas that do tend to clear out a little bit tonight may see some fog early tomorrow morning, and then we'll repeat it again tomorrow afternoon, especially during the heat of the day. The chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms, some with downpours and a couple with gusty winds. Pretty typical summertime weather, but the heat coming next week is not typical St. Louis heat. We'll see in a few minutes to talk about that.
All right, Scott. Now to our other breaking news. St. Louis police are investigating after 5 people were shot in Tower Grove South.
Some of those victims are juveniles. 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend just got new information from police. He joins us now live from South City. Robert.
Mike and Kelly, let me tell you, it was a wild and violent night out here in this South City neighborhood. Take a look at the video that we just got just about 30 minutes ago or so. Again, police say around 7 o'clock tonight, 5 people were shot in this area. All that happening during a gun battle here near Morgan Ford and Beck Avenue. Now, they tell me the suspects are 3 minors and 2 adults. All 5 are down the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police also say the suspects were all dropped off at different hospitals. Investigators say detectives tried to talk to the suspects about the shootout, but right now they are not cooperating.
This is a neighborhood. This is where people live. It's violence in a neighborhood, and that is not what we need or we want.
Ladies, you see right here in this parking lot was tied to a recent carjacking that happened about a few days ago. Right now they are not telling us because they're still trying to figure it out, but they don't know if it's actually tied to the gun battle. Back there also you see those 2 police cars there, an officer standing out here in this parking lot. They're obviously still at this scene, a developing story that's happening right now. But again, police tell us the good news is that nobody else was hurt. They're trying to learn more information as they talk to those 5 injured suspects. We're live in South City. I'm Robert Townsend. 5 on Your Side.
Tonight, a story you'll only see on 5 on Your Side. We're hearing from the former St. Louis Jail Oversight Committee member who was arrested after showing up to the jail when a detainee died.
A municipal judge says Janice Mensah was trespassing and then resisted arrest. Today, Mensah is sitting down only with Brent Solomon ahead of next week's jury trial.
Well, several local groups and nearly 600 people have signed a petition asking Mayor Kara Spencer to request that Mensah's charges be dropped. Mensah, who goes by the pronouns they, them, tells me they were only doing their job. Officers felt differently.
It's just impacted every aspect of my life. It hangs over me every day.
It was August 31st, 2023. Janice Mensah, a member of the Detention Facilities Oversight Board at the time, had just learned of the death of a detainee, Terrence Smith, here at the City Justice Center. Mensah showed up to inquire. Former Jail Commissioner Jennifer Clemens Abdullah called police.
Did you resist arrest?
Definitely not.
A municipal judge said Mensa did and said they were trespassing. Mensa is requesting a trial by jury to overturn that ruling. They tell me the day police showed up, they had to go to the hospital.
Was everything okay?
No, definitely not. No.
You were injured?
Yes.
How so?
I don't know that I can talk about that specifically.
Mensa says the specifics will come out at trial. In this open letter to Mayor Kara Spencer, the Justice for Janice Coalition says the charges are an egregious example of the city going to great lengths to hide the deadly conditions at the City Justice Center and to silence the brave community members bringing attention to those conditions.
They know that what happened to me, what was done to me, was wrong.
Alderman Rasheen Aldridge is one of 2 Board of Aldermen supporting Mensa. They have demonstrated exceptional care and dedication to our residents at the CJC. As a former appointed member of the Oversight Board and Vice Chair, their leadership has consistently focused on caring for our community and seeking solutions to improve our jail system. It is concerning, he says, that individuals like Janice are encouraged to participate in the process and are then victimized for showing genuine concern for our city. Today I reached out to the mayor's office for comment, but none was provided. Mensa will have a pretrial hearing tomorrow.
A contentious first meeting for St. Louis's new police board. Tonight, the city has a new body camera contract, but there are still concerns about oversight and conflict of interest. The board approved a 3-year, $6 million contract extension with body camera company Utility. Mayor Kara Spencer raised concerns over how the deal was made, as a state official admitted they had not fully reviewed how Utility was performing. Mayor Spencer also brought up questions about conflict of interest. Many of the state appointees on the board have business ties to the department.
We should also be maybe discussing how quickly the Board of Commissioners can affect a conflict of interest policy and process, since it's kind of referred to here.
We're required on an annual basis to adopt a conflict of interest policy as a public government entity.
So I think
we will do that.
my suggestion would just be that we establish a timeline for that.
The board delayed any action on a conflict of interest rule.
Tonight, the city of Pine Lawn is under a microscope as it faces a state audit. Missouri State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick announced the move today. The Pine Lawn Board of Aldermen requested the audit. People there have been vocal about the lack of development in the city. In a statement today, Fitzpatrick said, quote, "We plan to give them a better understanding of how and why their municipality seems to struggle with fundamental concepts such as transparency and accountability." Tonight, police are still searching for 2 men wanted in connection with a murder in Cahokia Heights last month.
It happened at the same apartment complex where a stray bullet hit a young girl earlier this week. New tonight, 5 Interside's Robert Townsend tells us what police are doing to keep the peace in the area.
These are mugshots of Javon Hamburg and John Davis. They are the 2 murder suspects Cahokia Heights police are searching for right now.
They are armed and dangerous.
Chief Tom Trice says on June 15th, Hamburg and Davis killed 19-year-old Quan Vaughn at Greystone Apartments in Cahokia Heights.
This happened in the early mornings of 5 a.m. where people were just standing out having a conversation. This was an outside, once again, an outside facet coming into Cahokia Heights and committing these acts.
Detectives have worked around the clock to find Hamburg and Davis.
Diligently working that case over the last 4 weeks, meticulously tracking down leads and interviewing several witnesses, as well as obtaining search warrants for multiple devices, taking this life senselessly of this young teen. And so this motivates all of our detectives.
Detectives determined to find the 2 murder suspects, as well as the person who fired a bullet that hit a 12-year-old girl who was in her home at Greystone Apartments Monday. Investigators say fortunately her injuries were not life-threatening. Chief Trice says they are well aware of the problems in this neighborhood. They are putting more officers out here. When we were out here on Thursday, we saw officers back at this apartment complex.
If you are out there doing criminal acts, we are going to find you and arrest you. The mission is simple as this: stop the violence in the Greystones.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Anyone who sees Hamburg and Davis should call police immediately. Tonight, one of the 5 suspects in the Alton shooting that killed a 13-year-old girl in February was sentenced. Rayshawn Colvin pleaded guilty to the murder of Renaya Stewart and was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Police say Colvin was not a shooter but provided the guns used in the crime. Stewart was shot while standing on the front porch of her home. 4 other suspects are charged with murder, and their cases are still pending.
Tonight, Missouri and the nation are mourning the loss of a civil rights icon and political trailblazer. William Bill Clay, Sr., died at the age of 94 this morning. He made history in 1968, becoming the first black congressman from Missouri. Clay was a founding member of the Congressional Black Caucus. He was a champion for racial justice and civil and labor rights.
He used his power to empower people. He impacted so many folks in ways that they don't even know.
Clay stepped down from Congress in 2001 after serving 32 years. His son, Lacey Clay, went on to hold that seat for 20 years.
St. Louis small businesses facing big lawsuits filed hundreds of miles away.
I thought it was a scam.
Tonight, 5 on Your Side looks into who's behind the costly legal battles over disability access.
To me, it just seems like kind of predatory.
The hottest week of the summer, it could very well be next week. The latest on the triple-digit heat indices we expect, and if there might be rain and storms to give us at least a brief break.
Dozens of local small businesses are getting caught up in a costly legal battle that's quietly spreading across the metro.
Tonight, our political editor, Mark Maxwell, shows us how a law meant to help people with disabilities may be helping someone else entirely.
Drive too fast down Old Missouri Highway 47 and you just might miss the Bricklayer Cafe.
I try to buy from local farms as much as I can.
Head chef Matt Ziegler works the counter, making artisan sandwiches. He's also the line cook, cashier, busboy, and owner.
I'm trying to put the craft back in food, you know.
There's a wheelchair ramp out back, handicapped parking, a drive-through for anyone who needs it.
I think to survive as a restaurant now, you really have to have all those avenues.
Including online ordering. Matt built a simple website where customers can browse his menu and place orders.
People can place an online order, just come through the drive-through and get it. We don't do the delivery right now.
That website caught someone's attention. Someone Matt had never heard of. Someone who lives 200 miles away.
It was definitely very surprising and very out of the blue.
A letter from Kansas City attorney Kevin Puckett demanding Matt's website comply with disability access laws or face a federal lawsuit.
I thought it was a scam. I thought it was a grift, basically.
The lawsuit would be filed on behalf of 75-year-old Robert Myers, who Puckett says is blind. Here's what we found. Myers lives in Caldwell County, Missouri. That's a 3-hour drive to Troy, one way.
We don't deliver. We just have order, pickup. I don't anticipate he's going to be coming here anytime soon.
Matt posted about the letter on social media and discovered something troubling. He wasn't alone. Straub's Market, Urban Chestnut Brewing, Bailey's Range, the Afton Diner, dozens of St. Louis area businesses, all getting the same letter from the same Kansas City attorney. Some were sued in federal court. Others, like Matt, just got the initial threat.
The stress of this thing, especially in those couple weeks between receiving the email and the letter and wondering whether they were going to file, was horrendous.
Here's what legal experts tell us. Under the Americans with Disabilities Act, you can't sue for monetary damages. You can only force a business to comply with the law. So where's the profit motive? Those experts say, in attorney's fees. Some businesses paid $7,500 to settle. Others are still fighting in court.
It's already stressful enough trying to survive in this economy.
All these lawsuits shared one thing in common, the same name, Robert Myers. But he directed all of our questions back to his lawyer, Kevin Puckett.
Mr. Myers would tell us that he's been to or has tried to visit every one of these businesses you've sent a letter to?
I don't think Mr. Myers would have any interest in talking to you, number one.
Puckett said lawsuits like his could open digital doors for blind online shoppers, even those he doesn't represent.
Because any time that they leave their house, it is a daunting, it is a frightening, it is an overwhelming experience.
How much money have you made in this endeavor?
Asking about certain settlements and their amounts are also privileged and confidential.
But you mentioned already, though, that Mr. Myers doesn't stand to gain a dime in any of this. So I presume all the settlements go to your pockets.
Mark, if you want to ask more about the general
process of ADA.
That's when Puckett's Florida-based business partner jumped in and suggested shutting down the interview. Matt now pays a monthly fee for website accessibility software.
I'm basically paying more right now for that than I do to even host our website.
You can see it there. A small blue icon now appears on his site, letting visitors adjust font size and contrast.
Would that be any use to you?
Not me personally, no.
Tracy Anderson gradually started to lose her vision 7 years ago. Today, she's totally blind.
What kind of barriers do you often face trying to navigate websites online?
When it comes to logging in and trying to do certain transactions, I run into some difficulty with that. Takes several tries. Sometimes I give up. Sometimes I get it to work.
Do you ever feel that you're sometimes shut out of things that maybe other people take for granted, like browsing a website, ordering food, booking a trip?
Yes, I do. For example, going down to, now I'm sure that there are ways to do it with a screen reader, but I don't trust myself to do that.
She showed us how the screen reader app on her phone responds to swipes and signals and reads text to her out loud. While it wasn't quick or easy, she was able to navigate online ordering websites for companies facing legal action, even those without the added accessibility button.
Are there apps or websites that do it well that you really enjoy using, and what do they get right?
Well, I use Amazon. When I learned how to place an order with Amazon, that was like the biggest thing to me. I was like, oh my goodness, I can get something and I need.
For Matt, whose small business lacks the resources of an Amazon, the threat of a suit still hangs over his head.
To me, it just seems like kind of predatory.
The Americans with Disabilities Act was designed to tear down barriers. In small-town Troy, it may have created new ones. Back at the Bricklayer, Matt keeps making sandwiches, keeps buying from local farmers, keeps serving anyone who comes in his door. Whether a 75-year-old man from Caldwell County will ever make that 6-hour round-trip drive for a sandwich, well, that remains to be seen. In Troy, Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell's back with the weather impact forecast. The rain behind us for now, right, Scott?
Yeah, it looks like for most of the night, there may be an isolated shower here or there, but we're not looking at downpours. We're not looking at big storms overnight tonight. I tell you what, though, we've had some pretty sunsets and some interesting sunsets. Kimberly was nice enough on our 5 on Your Side Weather Watchers Facebook page tonight to share this from Randolph County with the sun setting. You could still see a few clouds off in the distance trying to bubble up, but we love to see your photos. And sometimes Mother Nature gives us a pretty nice show, and others we have to deal with some downpours and some problems that brings. And we saw that today in a few places. Overall, the rain and the storms were relatively tame. We did have some spots east of St. Louis, like around Breeze, back here working your way towards St. Rose. We picked up some heavier rain in those spots. That's where there's still a few sprinkles left, but anything that's substantial is farther to the south, and it's very limited. You're looking way south here, down in southern Reynolds County, back towards Springfield. So for the overnight hours, there's not going to be a whole lot in terms of rain. There might be an isolated shower. Maybe there's a rumble that pops up overnight. It's very much not a problem for us as we head towards tomorrow morning. Now, during tomorrow morning's rush hour, while we think we're off to a mainly dry start, if we see any clearing in any spot tonight because it's been so wet, we may see some patchy fog. Then by midday, as we're heating up, here you go again. A few more showers, a few more thunderstorms possible, but not widespread severe weather. Some downpours certainly possible with that, but you're not looking at massive flooding, okay? It's summertime weather in St. Louis, and yes, you may need the rain gear. You may have to navigate around that a bit. We will not drop a lot more overnight tonight. Our temperatures are in the low to mid 70s. We're kind of stuck where we are with the clouds, we think. And tomorrow, probably the coolest day. I know that's kind of scary, but probably the coolest day we're going to have out of the next 10 with a high of 87. Beyond that, we're scooting back into the 90s. And I really want to focus here as we head towards Monday and especially by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're talking about our first 100-degree days here. And it's not just the heat. We all know it's the humidity. That's going to be sticking around. We've had that with us for the last several days. The corn sweat is going to become a real thing. Off to the east of St. Louis in Illinois, our cornfields, they have had plenty of water. Mother Nature has well watered the corn in the last couple of weeks. Next week, that corn and those fields of corn, every acre will throw 3,000 to 4,000 gallons of water into the air. You're going to feel that humidity. We're all going to have to deal with that. And with overnight low temperatures not dropping below 80 in town, and maybe for some of us in the outlying areas barely getting below 80, that becomes a cumulative effect on our bodies.
Yeah.
So start hydrating now. Start thinking about prepping with your seniors.
Something else to be weather aware about.
Absolutely.
All right. Scott, thanks. Corey is in with sports.
Mizzou football got its day to shine at SEC Media Days, and I have a feature on one of our area's most dominant pro athletes. Sports is up after the break. In 42 days, Mizzou football is back. Much like last year, the Tigers have some expectations on their shoulders, if not nationally, certainly locally, and Eli Drinkwitz is never one to shy away from a challenge. Today was Coach Drink's time to shine at the SEC Media Days down in Atlanta. Drinkwitz has won 21 games over the last 2 seasons combined. While the Tigers still embrace that something to prove motto, in his 6th year at the helm, Coach Drink isn't too worried about the opinions of others.
You know, honestly, when I first got here, I was trying to establish myself, you know, make sure that people knew who I was. Obviously, it didn't work today with the security guard, but you know, now I'm just I'm comfortable in who we are. I'm comfortable in what our program is and what it's about. I'm comfortable in our opinions and beliefs and value systems, and you know, what people think about us and myself and our opinions really doesn't faze me anymore. I'm not looking for their approval.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
Well, the losing streak is over for City SC. Now they'll try for the first time since March to win 2 in a row on Saturday against Dallas. Things are heading in the right direction, but Coach isn't getting ahead of himself.
The thing after the Portland game that we immediately wanted to speak about was now we got to be consistent, but we just take every game as it comes. So we're in a position now where we know where we are in the standings. We know objectively what we have to get, but we want to take every game as the most important game for us as it comes.
Without an NFL team in our town of St. Louis, I often find myself rooting for our local products as if they are our own team. Over the past few years, you could argue no local player has been more of a star than Highland Sam Laporta. I caught up with the tight end earlier this week.
In trouble, throw. Oh! He caught it! Touchdown, Laporta!
Before Sam Laporta was making circus catches in the NFL for the Detroit Lions, he was doing the same right here in Highland, Illinois. Now, instead of trying to beat Triad in a rivalry game, Laporta is trying to help the Lions win a Super Bowl. And they've come pretty close in his first 2 seasons.
My rookie year, getting to the NFC Championship, then this last year, winning the division for the 2nd year in a row, 15 wins. Pretty remarkable things, but of course, you know, us and the 31 other teams, the main goal is to win the Super Bowl every year.
Through his first 33 games in the league, Laporta has 17 touchdowns and over 1,600 yards receiving. And as you may know, the Lions are not short on St. Louis connections these days. Laporta is one of 6 St. Louis area players on the Detroit roster.
I think St. Louis and the Metro East, there's a lot of great athletes. You know, we go off to colleges and we work hard and we take what we've learned from the community and these towns. And I don't know if it's a coincidence that there's a couple of guys on the Lions, but it's pretty cool. We'll travel to away games. We'll go down to Dallas at AT&T Stadium and I'll see a sign with a bunch of Highland kids. They're waving me down and they're flashing their Highland shirts. I'm always waving to them.
This week, the Pro Bowl tight end was back where it all started in Highland, and the Laporta 87 jerseys were not hard to find at the Bulldogs football camp.
It's my first time coming back to Highland and participating in one of these youth camps, and to see the reaction of all the kids, and just to know that, you know, I've made a little difference in their life, and I get to show my face and set a good example for them. It's pretty cool.
For all those little Laporta fans running around, the message from the man who made it from Highland was simple.
To come back, tell them if you work hard, you can make the varsity team. And then if you're on the varsity team, you might be able to go play in college. And when I was in college, I had aspirations to play in the NFL, and to go off and check all those boxes, it's really neat. It's really attainable if you work hard, and basically that is what I'm trying to preach to these kids, to work hard, have fun, and chase your dreams.
As Sam showed, not only do we have so many kids who grew up here playing in the professional ranks, they
Right.
come back and they want to inspire the next
They
generation.
give back.
Yeah.
And
Really
he's
nice.
not a bad guy to have on your fantasy
Yeah.
team.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
All right, Corey, thanks.
Coming up, a Savannah Bananas redo, how you can get in on the fun at the City Museum this weekend.
Well, the Cardinals have the week off, but a new team is in town this weekend, taking over Busch Stadium. The Savannah Bananas will play this weekend after rescheduling due to weather. You may remember when they were first scheduled, a world record was set at the City Museum, the most people wearing banana hats at the same time. This weekend, if you show your ticket at the museum, you get $5 off admission. You can then hit the gift shop to get some banana-themed gear for the game.
Hopefully they won't get rained out this time.
No, I don't think so. It'll be warm, though. Temperatures are going above 90 on Saturday and Sunday and way into the 90s next week.
There you have it, 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
Start your day, but today in St. Louis, that starts at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.